Morning. We gather in this sacred space, made most sacred in this moment by the presence and attention of each and every one of us. I now invite those of us gathered in this sanctuary to greet our live stream participants by turning and waving at the camera in the front right side of the sanctuary. For those in the sanctuary, let's now take a moment to greet one another. Morning again, and welcome to the Winchester Unitarian Society. My name is Ivan Correa, and I'll be your worship associate this morning. In this sanctuary, we welcome all people and affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We're guided by justice, equity, and compassion, and we draw inspiration from many, many sources and encourage one another to explore our own spiritual paths while learning together. Some of us come into the space feeling strong and centered, some of us carrying struggles. However you come today, your heart is welcome here. We are all imperfect, and we gather to set down our defenses and trust that what happens in worship today is powerful and life-giving. If you are visiting with us for the first time, we invite you to complete the visitor card found in the pew rack in front of you and place it in the offering plate during offertory. This will help us stay connected beyond today's service. Today, we are fortunate to welcome back the Reverend Dr. Anita Farber Robinson, who retired back in 2020 after more than 40 years in ministry, serving New England congregations and teaching at Andover Newton Theological School. She is currently an emeritus minister at the First Parish UU in Canton, Massachusetts. Reverend Anita is the author of Learning While Leading and co-author of Called to Community. Both these books are available in paperback and on Kindle through Amazon. She's a mother of two, stepmother of two, grandmother of 8, and great-grandmother of 2. She lives by the sea in Swampscott, Massachusetts with her dog, Tinker. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Anita. I have 2 announcements. The first is a brief announcement from the Standing Committee. The red envelope fundraiser, no fuss, no work, no fuss, no muss, if you look at the back, will help reduce this year's deficit by taking a red envelope from the wall at the back of the sanctuary. You can read more about this in your order of service, and we thank you very much. The second announcement is that we have a tradition of creating a remembrance wreath on Memorial Day Sunday and leaving the sanctuary to dedicate and post it at the World War I statue across the street at Main and Mystic Valley Parkway. Our children in religious education will create the wreath during worship and lead the way to the statue with their adult companions at the end of today's service. If you wish to remain in the sanctuary, Kim Foley, today's pastoral care associate, will be seated in the pew by the candle table to go through the ceremony here. All should bring their orders of service for the dedication words. After the ceremony, we will gather again in the Sims room in the back for coffee and conversation. And I now invite you to open your hearts and mind to the spirit of worship as Reverend Anita shares the invocation.
Good morning. It's very good to be back, and thank you, Ivan, for that lovely introduction. So let us be ready for worship. As we come together on this day of memory and hope, may we be mindful that we have been given a land with large, flourishing cities we did not build, houses filled with all kinds of good things we did not make, wells we did not dig, and vineyards and orchards that we did not plant. Then, when we eat and are satisfied, when we seek shelter and are protected, when we gather from our towns and our cities, as we remember together, may we remember with love and with gratitude. Welcome then to you and to this day.
I now invite Jeremiah to come up and light the chalice. On this Memorial Day weekend, we light this chalice in remembrance of those who gave their lives in service to our country. May this flame call us to gratitude, reflection, and a deeper commitment to peace. May we honor the sacred worth of every life by working for justice, compassion, and an end to all war. As this chalice burns, may it remind us that remembrance is not only about the past, but about how we live today and into the future. If you could please rise in body and spirit to sing hymn number 6 in the gray hymnal.
I invite those who are young and young at heart to come forward for a story. Good morning. Come on up, everybody. So tomorrow is Memorial Day, when we take time to honor people who fought wars for our country. Come on closer, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. So it's also a day to remind ourselves that we should work for peace in the world so that nobody has to go to war. A while back, I talked about peace lasagna. Does anyone remember peace lasagna? It was a while ago, so I'm not sure if you guys remember. Maybe? All right. So I talked about how our feelings are layers, like a lasagna. Does this ring a bell? The top layer is anger. Then fear is underneath that, and then underneath that is hurt, and at the bottom is love. And when we feel anger, we have to try to reach down through those layers of fear and hurt to get back to the love that we feel. Does anybody remember now? Maybe. All right, well today, though, I want to talk about another peace lasagna that I have been thinking about for a while. And it's especially about war. So you may wonder why we still have war. Why does it still happen? Everybody knows that fighting is not okay, right? Our parents tell us, our teachers tell us, right? We don't like it when we're in a fight. It doesn't feel very good, right? So why does it still happen? Have you ever wondered about why? Yeah. So our lasagna feelings are one reason why, right? We love somebody and then we get a little bit hurt and that makes us afraid and then we get angry. And it can happen really quickly without us even realizing it, right? But another thing is money. It's sad but true that some people make money off of war. And that's a hard thing to think about. Those people have left aside or ignored their feelings and decided that money is the most important thing, even more important than peace and safety for everyone. So luckily, there aren't that many of those kinds of people, and we can always hope that they will change. Because there aren't many of them, those people who want war to happen try to get other people to believe that some people, the people they want to fight with, aren't as good or as right or as deserving as we are. And by we, I mean whatever group or country is starting a war. Yes, Jeremiah?
It's also over power. Like
Power, yes.
president, and say they assassinate someone so they can do it. And that's
Right, so power is also a way to get money too, right? So they go hand in hand, don't they? That's a really good point, Jeremiah. So it's surprisingly easy to get people to believe that somebody else deserves to be fought with, right? Sometimes some of us will believe these things if we aren't listening and we aren't thinking carefully. If we don't think really carefully with our open minds and our loving hearts, we can believe those things. We have to be really careful. So I've been thinking about a new peace lasagna to help us. When someone's telling us those things, we need to think about this new peace lasagna. And the recipe includes some ingredients that I know you guys know pretty well at this point, our UU values. So bear with me because I'm going to go through the recipe. Are you ready? We're going to do our love at the center. What number do we do for love? It's a circle with no beginning and no end. And we put it right at the center over our hearts, right? Love is at the center of all that we do, right? We must always start with love if we want peace. Okay, what's the next one? Number 1. Does anybody remember this one? Transformation, right? Number 1, it's a sprout growing up from a seed, right? And transformation is kind of like that special seasoning, the basil or the oregano. It's kind of surprising and delicious, right? So we must believe that people are capable of transformation, each of us and all of us together, right? As a group even. Okay, what's the third one? Who remembers? The second one. Who remembers the second one? Ira? Equity, right? It's our equal sign. And equity, does that mean everything's the same for everybody? Everybody gets a Band-Aid? No, what's it mean, Lua? Everybody gets what they need, exactly right. And so for our lasagna, I'd say equity's like the veggies. Everybody has their favorite, and some people, some veggies not for everybody, but everybody has their favorite. So we must strive to make sure that everyone is given the tools and the veggies they need to survive and thrive. All right, pluralism. Which one's that? I forgot to draw my faces on my fingers. It's the finger faces, right? Does anybody remember what pluralism is? Yes. We're all different, and we need to be curious about each other, right? And ask, I wonder why, right? So maybe pluralism is the noodles, those big flat lasagna noodles. What do you think? They separate the cheese and the veggies, and some may be crusty on the edges, but they're what makes the shape of our lasagna. So knowing others and sharing our differences with curiosity makes it harder to do harm to one another. Makes it harder to fight, right? All right, what's number 5? I know if you were in the children's chorale, you know this one. It's number 5 is Lua. Justice. Justice. You remember that song? Justice. So justice is essential for good lasagna and for peace, and we really need it in there. Only when we can all be seen as equals can we move toward peace. So I think justice is like tomato sauce. That's my guess. Okay, what is... so justice is number 4. So number 5 is generosity. Generosity. So we work to meet the needs of others, like a big pan of lasagna that you bring over to your neighbors. It feels good to get that and to give it, right? How many of you like lasagna, by the way? A smattering. All right, okay. So some of you, this might not make as much sense. Sorry about that. All right, we're at the last one, number 6. When you hold out one hand for 5 and one finger, and then what do? We trace our palm, what is it? Interdependence. That's a big word. I'm so proud of you guys for knowing that word. Ira, nice job. So we work to meet the needs of others. Oh, sorry, that was generosity. We value the connections we have to all in the web of existence. So that ooey gooey mozzarella and Parmesan holds the lasagna together. Valuing and honoring our connection to one another helps us find peaceful solutions. So I'm not saying that the solution is an easy one, right? It's hard. It's hard. We have to reach down through those layers and hold on to love, right? But it's an important problem, and we need to work toward it. But if we keep reminding ourselves of our values and keep love, at the center of all that we do, well, I would like to keep ricotta cheese at the center of all I do as well. But that would be a good start, right? Jeremiah. Should we eat our core values? I think we should eat lasagna as an emblem of our core values that will remind us of our core values. Does that work for you? It still sounds like I'm eating. All right, fine. I'm eating our core values, but there's plenty of them. We can keep recreating them, we can make more lasagna. Sound good? All right. Okay, we can talk more about this downstairs. I invite the grown-ups to sing the children and teachers to religious education. The words are in your order of service.
Thank you, Anand. So did that make you all hungry if you didn't have a big breakfast? I invite you to join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep breathing. Feel your breath. Feel it move in and through your body, bringing you life, freely given. Your breath that connects you with all that ever was and all that ever will be. It comes from the stars from which we were made. It is the same breath that was breathed by the first creatures that climbed out of the water. It is the same breath that was breathed by our early ancestors who made their way out of Africa and traveled across the globe. We are a migrating people. It is the same breath of mothers and fathers that have loved their children into being. The breath that our trees and our vegetables breathe. The breath that our grandchildren and great-grandchildren and the generations to come will breathe. Here we are held in that generous breath of life, freely given, that we did not earn, have no need to deserve. Feel yourself held in that unconditional acceptance and love. And in that is the healing for so much that is broken. Broken in our souls, broken in our bodies, broken in our community, in our country, in our world. We remember so many times we have been broken. So many times we have had to re-knit and heal ourselves. So many lessons learned and so many forgotten. Into this space of unconditional love, there is healing. We hold those who grieve. We hold those who hope. We hold those who work for peace and love and justice, that they may never grow too tired. And we hold those who still need to heal. Each one of us here, held in love. for all our blessings, known and unknown, remembered and forgotten. May we be truly grateful. Amen.
Let us now kindle the light.
Our first reading is by someone we don't know. And I have searched, and it is, no one knows from where it came, but it's called The Things You Didn't Do. Remember the day I borrowed your brand new car and dented it? I thought you'd kill me, but you didn't. And remember the time I dragged you to the beach and you said it would rain, and it did, and I thought you would say, I told you so, but you didn't. Do you remember the time I flirted with all the guys to make you jealous? And you were? I thought you'd leave me, but you didn't. Do you remember the time I spilled cherry pie all over your car? I thought you'd hit me, but you didn't. And remember the time I forgot to tell you that the dance was formal and you showed up in jeans? I thought you'd drop me, but you didn't. Yes, there were lots of things you didn't do, but you put up with me, and you loved me, and you protected me. There were lots of things I wanted to make up to you when you returned from Vietnam, but you didn't.
That was an absolutely beautiful piece. I'm now reading a poem by Naomi Shihab-Nye. It's called Burlington, Vermont. In the lovely free public library, the only library I ever met that loans out garden tools as well as books. Rakes and long-handle clippers from large buckets by the counter. I sat in a peaceful room with citizens I will never know, reading about faraway war. War I am paying for. War I don't want and never wanted. And put my head down on the smooth wooden table, wishing to weep loudly or quietly, it did not matter. In the purifying presence of men and women, shovels and hoes, devoted to growing.
In her poem, Naomi Shihab-Nye speaks about her experience in Burlington, Vermont. Its incongruity, her experience of cognitive dissonance, a quiet, peaceful room in the library of quiet, peaceful Burlington, Vermont. A room with buckets, presumably in springtime, a time much like today, maybe even around Memorial Day, when the buckets are filled with gardening tools, rakes, hoes, shovels, long-handled clippers, all devoted to growing things. While she sits there reading about a war far away, a war she doesn't want, a war she is paying for. I can relate to that. Maybe you can too. Her poem was written more than 15 years ago. It's in a book that was published 15 years ago. But she could just as well have written it today. And as she sits there, surrounded by these testaments to life and to growing, she feels overwhelmed by grief. Grief by a war which is the enemy of life, beyond her control, and because it is her country, she is paying for it. And I put my head down on the smooth wooden table, wishing to weep, loudly or quietly, in the purifying presence of women and men, shoes and shovels, devoted to growing. I know what she feels like. That wish to put your head down on the table and weep. And especially when you feel like you have no capacity to change the situation. And especially when it seems like the people around you don't really care or don't even notice. It's happened here before, and it's happening now. Wars in which the war dead aren't soldiers anymore, or rarely. They are children and mothers and fathers. They are elders and infants and people going to work in schools, in hospitals, people living in their apartment buildings or going to the marketplace. There have been Memorial Days when we have remembered the dead of wars gone by. World War I and World War II, we're going to a monument for that. History to which we authentically pay a tribute. And there are Memorial Days like today when our nation is at war for reasons many of us disavow or don't understand. And we find ourselves reading about faraway war. War I am paying for, war I don't want and never wanted. And the holiday takes on an immediacy it hasn't had for a while. This Memorial Day, we gather to grieve for the dead of wars that were seemed honorable and justified, and also for the dead of wars that were unwise and poorly conceived. As we will say when we dedicate the wreath, following the service, we grieve for every loss in war, no matter what flag adorns the uniform, or no flag at all. We remember the people, the families, the communities that have suffered and will suffer through war and its violent work. We will say all that. And our lives go on. A new normal, or an old one, mundane and ordinary. We will grab our shovels and our trowels and plant our flowers. We will go out and mow and rake our lawns. And that is good, my friends. That is a good thing to do because they died that we might live. They died that we might live. They died that we might learn something. They died that we might learn to be better people, to grow. We remember that they did not vanish. Their lives and dreams are woven into ours right now. Importantly, can we remain aware that the lives that we now live are their bequest? All of our lives are lived in the context of those who came before us, known and unknown, their failures and their achievements, their sins and their virtues, and we are shaped by them. We, in fact, are shaped by our own sins and virtues, too. One woman, whose name we will never know, calls us from a past war, a war as troubling in its day as this war is in ours. It's not about the heroism of the ones who went to fight. It's about the heroism of those of us who were left behind. Will we be, this is what she asks of us, will we be honest enough and brave enough to learn to live with humility, generosity, and compassion? Will I? Will you? There are lots of things I wanted to make up to you when you returned from Vietnam. There were lots of things I wanted to make up to you when you returned. There were lots of things I wanted to make up to you. How many things are there in your life that you want to make up to people? Any people. Your partner, your parent, your child, your neighbor, your house cleaner, your minister. How many apologies are owed? How many appreciations unspoken? Birthdays forgotten? Losses ignored? How many hugs were never given? Loves not spoken, or just not spoken enough? What stopped you? What stopped you from telling them they looked beautiful? Or that the way they greeted you made you feel so special? Or that they were a touchstone for you, a touchstone in your life on which you depended? Would you do it differently this time? Would you tell them? What are the other things you wanted to say and never had the chance, or never took the chance? What stopped you from saying it that first time? Can you recognize the hurt it caused, or the disappointment? Would you do it differently this time? Our poet is talking about the one who didn't come back from war. Most likely, we all have someone who didn't come back, to whom we said goodbye one day, and then sometime later, they were gone. Maybe it was a war, or a heart attack, a family breakup, or a relocation. Maybe it was an accident, or an argument, or a betrayal. Whatever it was, we can't retrieve them now, but can we learn a better way? Can we learn from it? I was in counseling many years ago with a man I was about to marry. We found ourselves frequently in arguments. And finally, the counselor stopped us one day and asked, "Is it more important to be right or to be in relationship? Is it more important to be right or in relationship?" We were both puzzled by that question. We didn't get it. Wasn't it important to know the truth of things, we said? Only slowly over time did I come to understand that it can be okay to love and accept somebody who, in my opinion, was wrong, and just leave it alone. In relationships, we don't always need to be right. We don't always need to win. There are values higher than winning or even being right. Many years later, I cling to that wisdom, and I honor the counselor who taught me. There are values higher, and then there are other smaller values, smaller hills we foolishly sometimes go to die on. We saw the wisdom demonstrated powerfully just last month, April 20th, right here in Boston, with only 300 meters remaining to the finish line of the 26-mile marathon. 21-year-old Massachusetts native Ajay Hardasi collapsed. He repeatedly tried to get up, but his legs just wouldn't hold him, while the other competitors ran on to cross the finish line. Britain's Aaron Beggs, on the verge of surpassing his own personal best after having run 26 miles, on the verge of passing his personal best, instead chose to stop 300 meters from the finish line, totally stop, and help Haradasi up. But it was difficult. He couldn't get him up because Haradasi's legs kept collapsing. He couldn't hold him. And as the two men struggled to get him upright on his feet, Brazil's competitor, Robson de Oliveira, stopped to help them 300 meters from the finish line. Those two men not only got up Haradasi, they walked him across the finish line. Exhausted themselves, Beggs and de Oliveira used the last of their energy to help a competitor across the finish line of the Boston Marathon, the oldest continuing and most prestigious marathon in the world. There are some values higher than winning. There are some values higher than being right. There are some values higher than efficiency or punctuality, propriety, even tradition. There is one value that is higher than them all, actually, and actually it resides at the center. Our kids know it, and you know it. Love. Love, the core value at the center of our Unitarian Universalist faith that assures us it is okay to be wrong. It is okay to apologize. It is okay to forgive. It is okay to try and miss your mark. With love at the center, we can always try again. And with love at the center, we can hold as precious those who tried and failed, along with those who tried and made us proud. With love at the center, we can honor those who have died for a cause and still choose to change our course when we realize the error of that cause. Honoring them by making the correction, moving our goalposts back into the only center that ever really holds. Love. Love. The center worthy of our devotion. May it be so. Amen. And blessed be.
Thank you for that, Reverend Anita. Our Share the Plate offering this Sunday is going to the House of Peace. Since its inception in 1990, the House of Peace has welcomed more than 500 refugees from 30 countries, including Haiti, El Salvador, Ethiopia, Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, Sudan, and Syria. Most recently, their work has focused on children from war-savaged countries seeking surgeries and other medical care in Boston area hospitals for prosthesis due to lost arms and legs and for treatment of extremely severe burns. They come for medical treatment in Boston and are hosted in a healing community in Ipswich. These treatments are life-altering for the children and their families. Our collection plate welcomes cash, checks, and you can donate electronically. Details are in your order of service and will be shared online. Reminder that first-time visitors, please place your completed visitor card on the offering plate. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received. Those who wish to do so are invited to join in the unison affirmation that's in the order of service. We gather, not for ourselves alone, but to use our common power to build the beloved community within and beyond these walls. We create and reaffirm this covenant this day to make justice flourish to practice compassion amidst difference, and to embody transformative love. Please rise in body and spirit to sing hymn number 34 in the Grey Hymnal.
I don't know if it's your practice to stand or sit for the benediction, but whatever is your practice is fine with me. But I begin by closing with these words by Barbara Peskin. Because of those who came before, we are. In spite of their failings, we believe. Because of and in spite of the horizons of their vision, we too dream. And so then, my friends, may our dreaming carry us this day and other days forward with peace, with love, and with fresh courage. Go forward. Amen.
Our service has ended, but our life of service continues. We will now be heading out to the World War I Memorial at Main Street and Mystic Valley Parkway. Those who choose to remain in the sanctuary are invited to gather near the candle table for an indoor recitation of our words of dedication.